All right, so I don't know if you remember this call, but here we are. We're back in this back of the house mobile home unit. We've got an inside unit that was leaking refrigerant. I'll put a link in the description, the original call. So we're here to replace this guy and replace the inside of this mobile home unit, but unfortunately the equipment we have now is different. As far as size. So there's the original door, there's the inside unit, coil, air handler. So the new one has a door about the half this size. So I don't know yet, but I might cut here and reuse this. I'm not sure yet, but we'll figure it out. So Wesley's here helping me today. He's working, and I also have the boss lady working today. Huh? Okay. Awesome. What do we got here? We've got some stuff, and as you can see, the difference in the height, like look at that coil. It's like 10 inches taller. But what I want to do, this is the bottom of the furnace. Woo, it's about 54 inches. The furnace there is 51. So the furnace there is going to go, actually the furnace and coil there goes to about right here on the top. So we got to remember, we got to put filters, lay filters on here. So they have to be able to take them out. We'll have to figure all this out. Right, Jacker? Yep. We'll have to figure this out. So Jackie knows what she's doing. Hey, that's going to come down fast because it's downhill, right?
That's why I'm not using the dolly.
Okay. All right, so we'll just take you here and there. I'll just show you the progress, and then but the main thing is I'm gonna install a see-all sight glass right here. And so you see this a lot in refrigeration. It's a sight glass you put on the high sight line, and back in the day when I first started, I was taught to watch this on, they had this on every residential unit when I first started doing air conditioning. So we are going to do the same thing. I want to put it on there. So the process is, if there's bubbles going through the glass, and I'll show you, there's still gas going into the indoor coil. And remember, we just want 100% liquid, right? So when the bubbles go away, essentially that's telling us that we're 100% liquid. And so since this is a modular or a mobile home unit, the ductwork is strange. Okay, so the static pressure in mobile home units, the downflow units, are always off. The superheats are very low. It's just, to get that balance is very tough. So I'm going to measure the subcool because there is a TXV inside, but at the same time watch the bubbles here and see if they correlate and they work together. So yeah, so now what I'm doing is just pumping this thing down. There we are right there. I closed the high side, now we're closing the other side. Turn off the breaker and just quickly close it with the ratcheting Allen wrench, service wrench. Close the other side. These are the ones that take forever. Okay, so now essentially we have pumped down the refrigerant that's in the system into this condensing unit. Even though it's old, the reciprocating compressor is still pumping, so we just pump it down just like that. Now we can go ahead and start cutting it out and things like that. Okay, so now we just pulled out the coil. We cut the coil out. So in these mobile home units, they can go down a certain amount down to the ground, but we want this to go further. You know, if not, we're going to have to cut down here and have 2 solder joints, and we want to have as less as possible. So now here's our high voltage coming in. We've cut the breakers off, but we want to make sure that we still are without power. So a 0 and 0. But we do have, I'm thinking that this, see how they did it? This one is actually the condensing unit, and they have it spliced off of this 60 here, and they could do it and get away with it because it's not a heat pump. So really your heat strips down here, pull the most energy, and your compressor. So as long as they're not running at the same time, that you can piggyback on this side of the coil, and that's what they did. This one here is actually the condenser for the disconnect outside, and these 2 are for the indoor air handler. All right, so now we're gonna just take these off, shove them down, and we need to go look underneath the house and see if we can pull this and slack out. Getting a workout. Wesley, you getting a workout? And might be able to slide it in. Lay it on top for right now. Okay. Good. Alright, and down. Alright, so now we just pull all these out, like so, just like that. And then we have, of course, this is our outside disconnect. And then we have these connectors here, which are not going to let us do what we need to do. But we need to take a note that they're here because we need to put them exactly where they are on the new air handler. So we see that they're all on the right side. I should have a Phillips in here. So we have a little bit of action there, and we have a couple more here. These connectors. Oof. Just loosen them up. That way the wire can slide through. That's what we want. Awesome. And I think right now we need to get a fan and put it in here so it can blow on our face, and we could have what?
Evaporation.
Evaporation. Because right now my body is sweating because it's saying you're hot. And we need a blower to blow across this coil, right? Does that make sense? So we can sweat it out and cool. Evaporation. Okay. So Wesley, go get it. Ready? See in there, right? Jack? See in there, Jack?
Yep.
Maybe 15, right? But that way we get rid of some weight. So So right now we're trying to separate this cabinet from the walls, and so we're trying to figure out, whoever installed it, where did they fasten all the screws. So we found 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 screws so far.
There's some underneath.
This is holding the panel. So now we've got some down here. Okay. This was a booger. I don't know if you've ever had a booger like this. Man. This is tight, 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 tight. Screws everywhere. But yeah, you can see down there the supply. Those are the wires, everything. All right. Wesley, how are we doing, buddy? What do we got to do right now?
Dry fit it.
Dry fit it. What are we putting on?
Filter dryer.
Filter dryer, and then what?
Sight thingy.
Yep, and that's gonna go right. Okay, that's gonna go right in front of it. Awesome, man. Awesome. You're doing a good job, buddy. Hey, we gotta knock it out, right? Okay. Awesome. While I'm just sitting back doing nothing.
How big of a hole do we need?
Look what we got here. Jackie's turning red. Huh?
How big? Bigger?
Okay, you finally got it penetrated in there? Okay, yeah, so you know what? Yeah, look, make it that size right there.
That was hot.
Look, just a little bit more. That's it? Perfect.
The metal is so hot.
All right, so we got the old one pulled out. That was a booger and a half. Look, here's the old one, the cabinet. I know it's hard for you to tell, but the old cabinet, here's the new one.
Oh, we could even
So,
just do this door there.
so you get it? So you see the difference? Yeah, yeah.
I was thinking next to this one.
Okay, yeah, so you can. So there's the, there it is. Yep, 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 yep. Yep. So we've got size restriction. This one here is 20 1/4 from here to there, so across here. And I've been able to take some sheetrock off up to the 2x4, which is 20 1/8. So man, we're gonna see if we can squeeze it in there without having to cut the 2x4 out and everything. So that would be cool. Let's see. All right, so now we got it in there. It fit just barely, but it fit. So now we're running, getting our copper run up through there. Our drain line, is it down in there somewhere under the house? Now we're gonna get some grommets, big one, small one, to run our voltage through. So we chased it through. We were able to chase our little wire through there. And then the next thing we're gonna do, we've got the grommet. So the next thing we're gonna do is figure out how to get this coil in there and be able to actually get also provide the ability to change the filter, which is going to be pressed against here. That's how it's built on both sides. Yeah, we're gonna figure that out next. Alright, so now we're gonna get these matched up, soldered, and then swage that, solder that, and get our little hookup things. Probably should do the drain line right now, connection, while we got room. Looks like, yep, one screws in. So it's like a little threaded and barbed nipple. One side is threaded, the other side is barbed. And these you don't want to tighten it with a tool. You just want to hand tighten it, but you want it tight for sure. And this guy already has a 90. Oh, that was clogged. Now it's clear. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. What's up, Wesley? What's up, buddy? You got it?
It's done. Ready to solder.
It's ready. So, yep, we're gonna have to go and get.
At least we don't have to build up.
Yep, so this is what we're gonna have to do, because as you can see, if we were to put the filters here on either side, and that's what they do a lot of times, it's gonna be a pain to get the filters out. So we're gonna get a piece of sheetrock, close this to about right here, and then get a 16 by 25 return filter grill and put it on there, and I think that'll be good. So one thing about brazing is you want to heat up the female side first and then start heating up the male. So this sight glass, the actual copper is a lot thicker than regular 3/8 copper. So even though it's just thicker, so in other words, it's not swaged. It's not swaged to work like regular copper would be 3/8. It's built to fit. So in other words, it's got to be thicker. So you want to heat up the thicker side first. So that's what we've done here. All right, so that's just a quick lesson. All right, so right now we're walking through Home Depot, actually Lowe's. Yeah, you can tell by the blue, right? And we're looking for a filter grill. This is the closest place to us right now, so we're gonna see if they got anything in their HVAC department. There it is, right there. Here's all the filters, and if you haven't, check out the Walmart filter teaching. It's on a video. We could link the description. All right, let's see here. So we're looking. Here's our returns. So there's a difference between a fixed blade grill and a return filter grill. So the fixed blade, you can't put in a filter, but look down there for a return filter grill, but the filter grill you can. What is that right there? What size is that one?
This one's a 24 by 40.
What is this one?
That's 20. 4 by 12.
12,
so it's sideways.
12 times 24.
And this one's 25 by 14, but it's the sideways one.
It's sideways. Okay, so that's another thing you got to look at. Is it, how are you mounting it? You're mounting it up and down, which that's what we're doing. Man, check this one, Jack. It's 2412.
20 by 25.
Huh?
20 by 25.
Nope.
16 by 20, I think, is the only one.
Is there a 16 by 20 there? Man, that's going to be cutting it shy on the amount of air. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're looking for right there. But man, is that going to be enough? Woo, it's going to be cutting it short, probably 200 CFM.
Can we do 20?
Let's see. All right, what do we got? Microns. We'll pull it down, 385, 384. There's our sight glass right here. And this is really what I want to show you. We're going to do an experiment together when we start it up. I'm not even going to look at the pressures at all. I'm just going to do the sight glass. We're going to see how close it can get, right? All right. So awesome. Wesley, go ahead and close down our gauges. Close them down and then close our yellow hose. And that one. All right, should be good. Turn it off. Now, let's just watch it for a minute. All right, I'm gonna watch it for a little bit. Yeah, watch that number. Watch it rise. Make sure it doesn't rise too high, too fast. All right, man. Awesome. Here we go. Let me show you what we got here. So we got our return filter grill right here. Then we got a little piece of birch wood we can cover that hole with, and the customer's going to be okay with it. So what we're going to do is draw that thing out and cut it. All right, what we can do, Wes, is we can start putting in these. So what's the numbers on these right here?
60.
Both of them?
Yes, sir.
All right, so
240s.
okay, so this one here. Do this one. This one. And this one over here.
Oh, the same one?
Yeah. No, well, one on top and one on bottom. One on top, one on bottom of the same breaker. Here and here.
I don't know if it fit.
And then, all right, so we've got our return in here. We got the 16 by 25. We had to go to the parts house to get it, but that's fine. They were cheaper. So 16 by 20, we cut the hole. If you remember, this is what was in there. So we've got that done, and here's our birch wood. And what we'll end up doing is just covering it like this with our panel, and I'll show you what it looks like. So Wesley's tightening up the high voltage to the unit. We've got our float switch in the pan, so we've got that run. We're going to be cutting the thermostat with that, power the thermostat. So if it overflows, here's our low voltage here. We'll run a low voltage over from here, and then we'll just connect that, branch that over right there. Sorry. At that point. So now we've kind of sealed the hole up with insulation. Now we're going to put our pookie and close it in and let that dry up. All right, so this is we're charging the unit now. I'm not even looking at the pressures right now. Just feeling, okay, we're warm, we're cold. So we've got our sight glass right here. There's our sight glass. And we're looking for gas bubbles to be flowing through. So refrigerant's flowing, liquid, right? We want 100% liquid to know we're charged. Now, keep this in mind, right? This unit is charged for 15 feet of line set, okay? So we are about 15-20 feet of line set into the house, okay? So it goes right back through there and up. I just let the refrigerant go and kicked it on. I haven't added any refrigerant to it or anything. And I'm looking at this sight glass. And I don't see any bubbles. Oh, there's a little bit of bubbles went through right there. You see that? A little bit of gas went through and made its way through the line. But it's just for a second. That was the first time. But other than that, so it looks like 100% liquid going into the unit. Now, this doesn't take into account if you overcharge your unit. But right now, we are not overcharged for sure. So, brand new system. So now I want to look over here. Now, it's 410A. Look at our superheat. 2.8. And our subcool is hovering around 3. It's going up a little bit. 3.5, not going up a little bit. 4, around 4 degrees subcool. Which, what does our nameplate want? We know we have a TXV inside. So I've seen 4 degrees subcool. Let's see here. Sometimes they'll tell us what they want. But this particular brand, Nortek, is not telling us what they want. Now this is a manufactured home. Okay, we went up 6.8. 6.7. Our pressure is 362. 145 on the suction. And 2 to 3 degrees superheat. Now remember, on mobile home units, the static pressure is weird because of the ductwork underneath, especially on a double wide. And so you're going to have a low superheat. You're going to have a low superheat. Man, that line's cold. So that suction line is already 54 degrees, 55, and it's maintaining. I don't see any bubbles in here. Right off the bat, that means the refrigerant that came in this unit, the amount for 15 foot, immediately I look down, no gas running through it. 100% liquid, and we got our superheat. Our subcool is right on too. Look, it's been running for a minute, 7.3. Now it's starting to equalize the TXV inside. That valve that meters the refrigerant, 7.8. 410A right on. And in a way, it's a combination of what came with the unit, letting it go, but that sight glass told us everything. So the old man of ancient days, of the 70s, 80s, early 90s, they knew for the most part what they were talking about. So this is a Revolv, like a revolver. Revolv. Never heard of that, but it's kind of cool. 3-ton unit. Now we're going to patch everything up, and really I wanted to focus on that sight glass right there. I really did. And it says dry is dark. Right in the middle there's a color. Looks brown, but it doesn't look yellow. This looks dry, and we want it to be dry, I believe. We don't want any moisture inside here. In other words, we want it dry. So I think that's right on. So we'll just put this little cap right back on there. These things still work. All right, guys. Here it is. We're done. Canisco. Couple extra goodies here. We like to keep our little goodies. Yep. Let's take a look inside. Really, there's that little door. Really, all they're gonna have to do is push return. Just paint the birchwood here. It's rocking and rolling, pulling through the filter only. That's what we want right there. Sheetrock. A early 2000s model R22 410A. How did we do that in 2025? Midsummer, when there's no equipment anywhere. I have no idea how that happened. I guess they were the fortunate ones to get the old refrigerant, the 410A, right now. Maybe because it's a manufactured home. Maybe that's why. There's still stockpiles somewhere, but they found it. And so they got a 410A system in there, blowing super cold. Looks good. And man, and you got to see the sight glass. I know a lot of you guys that are younger, you haven't seen much of the sight glass thing, unless you're in refrigeration. But man, I'm telling you, back in the day, they did it all day. I was taught in Houston by some grandpas, you know, in the air conditioning business, man. They swore by them, you know. You know, only thing that I would say that could be bad with that is you could overcharge a system and still have a steady column of liquid. It may be a little off, an impure liquid, but you still have liquid, and so it wouldn't be right. But I think if you're charging a system up for the first time, I think it's good. You know, weigh it in, let it go, whatever. Take under consideration the line set and the length. But anyways, I think they're going to be happy. Let me clean this up and we'll wrap it up. Have a good weekend, please. Have a good weekend. And love on somebody. Love someone. Find someone to love. And love on them.